Welcome all to episode 223 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, April 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Luke Lohr, the Insipid Ghost, joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logan. And alongside the captain today, we are joined by one Baron J67, my friend, and the communications director from Level 1 Gaming. And in this episode, we are discussing the Fallout franchise and how it just might be Xbox's most important franchise after a successful show and some updates to its games. Back Compat is back on the menu, and it looks like more Activision Blizzard titles are arriving into Game Pass. As always, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, Logan, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. We had a bit of a weird kind of tech issue going on right there, and I'm still trying to recover because I'm on a completely different profile that I have no clue what the settings are. So live.
It's how we do it, man. It's how we do it. But it is good to have you. Baron J67, you are the first guest on our live episode. How are you, sir?
You know what? I'm feeling honored. I'm feeling special, and I'm feeling warm. And it's the morning. I fresh off of a fresh start in New Vegas, so it's the Fallout life for me. Everything's great.
I am glad. Sorry, I was typing. I didn't want my mechanical keyboard to pick it up. Logan, it sounds like your mic's coming in soft. Just a little soft. Okay. It is coming in soft for them.
How about that?
Ooh, that's better.
Hey.
Yeah, that's better. I like that.
All right.
I like that.
I gotta pull down my mic monitoring.
All right, well, there we go. Well, chat, let us know how that goes. Clint says, perfect. That is amazing. We've already got quite a few people joining in. I see Ellery Woods Parker III in here, Court Lalonde, Bacon Gaming from the Nerd Chat. So good to see you guys. Silken It is in the house. Very cool to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate you all hitting the like button, joining us live, and so on. We've got our channel members running on a banner down below, and of course, we'll read our Patreon members in just a bit. But gentlemen, we like to start the show with words of kindness, and I'm curious if there's anybody that has made your gaming week better. I'll start just first by saying the Nerd Chat, Bacon Gaming's podcast. I listen to their show every Thursday night and really enjoy them. I often finish it on Friday mornings because I go to bed real early because I'm an old man. But this past week, they had on Todd Oxtra, another of our community members, and it was just really cool to see. And Baron, I bet you see this too. When your friends cross-pollinate and their shows intermix and match and you see friendships develop, I absolutely love that. So that was my words of kindness for this week, was to the Nerd Chat and all of them. So there we go. Baron, do you see that happen a lot with you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Or even just ending up in different spaces and all of a sudden seeing your friends who you've met separately, and then they connected on your show, and now they're doing things off. It's amazing. Yeah, I love it. Shout out to the Outer Haven and Air Cuts for the win. Just watching those two go off about Souls likes is amazing.
Very cool. Very cool. What's made your gaming week better, Baron?
Fallout. No. No, who would have thought a TV show would have made my gaming week better? I don't want to jump into it because I know that's something obviously we're going to talk about later, but just the fact that a show could be so well put together to push me to go and play a 10 plus year old game. Yeah. Immediately.
Yeah. I totally know what you mean. Totally know what you mean there. We'll talk about that for sure. Logan, who's made your gaming week better, my friend?
Well, I wanted to pull in not necessarily the gaming week, but just the people around me, because I've been taking a lot of time offline, focusing on me, and I wanted to give a shout out to Ains and to Butch. Ains has been helping kind of guide me, Sherpa me a little bit into this whole working out of the gym thing, because I don't know what I'm doing. I see weights, I pick up weight for 2 minutes, and then I'm okay, that's workout, right?
Right.
And that's what he's been helping me out with that, as long as as well as like some other folks too, like Cog and Dan and from Nerd Chat and stuff. They've been kind of giving me a little bit of advice here and there, so I appreciate them. And then shout out to Butch, who's he's having a rough time of it, and it's always tough, man. But I'm glad that he was able to use our community as kind of a way to help shoulder the burden of stress. Yeah. You know, and I know you guys have been there for me, and it's just nice to see like the community that we have, you know, just a little group of podcasting and YouTube content creators and Twitch streamers and stuff coming together, and just having a bunch of us all kind of be there for each other really feels so heartwarming to know, like, if you're having a bad day, like, it's okay. Yeah. There's enough of us who've been around and had stuff happen that we can help understand and empathize with you, or even just sympathize, straight up sympathize with you. So it's nice to know that, you know, if you have problems, if you're having trouble, like there's a safe place in our community. That was really heartwarming. And I feel I reach out to Butch for having a rough time right now, unfortunately.
Absolutely. The best part about gaming communities is true community, being there for one another.
Yeah.
I think that's what was missing in so many of us old hats when we were kids. We were on, maybe we had a couple neighbors, we'd get together and play, but like we were the nerds and it was hard to find communities. Yeah.
Yo, seriously. Just the whole thing of everybody was either a pocket nerd, like they didn't, you know, it wasn't something everybody talked about. Like, what do you mean you play Dungeons and Dragons with the kids across town? Like, I play. Like, you didn't even have to. But no, the community factor, it's definitely there. You know, especially when you really feel it when you go to like live events and whatnot, or go throw dice somewhere. But yeah, the community is huge, and it makes people feel warm, and it adds humanity to a lot of this, especially when you get faces and not, you know, animated profiles.
Absolutely.
I feel called out.
No, but you got a face and you're here, so no, don't feel called out. No, like this is, you're doing a lot more than what a lot of folks on the internet who talk a lot do, and you know, it's like this, just this right here already puts you leaps and bounds ahead of what goes on out there. So no.
That was a good save. I like
that was good. Well played.
Comms director.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Very cool. All right.
You know, just a quick little point, man. Talking about this, it's so wild to me that we're in such a cool space nowadays. Because I do remember, like, when we were growing up, man, like if you saw two kids in the corner, like it was either a couple that were making out, or it was a couple dealing drugs, or it was a couple like linked up with their Game Boys trading Pokemon. And it was like a 33% chance that if you walked over there, it was either going to be really cool or really awkward. And you're just like hoping that there's like, hey, you guys got some Gengars over there? Like, yeah, maybe I got my game. No, you're making out. Cool. All right. I'm going to go over this way. That was really awkward.
Well, we now have an insight into Logan's childhood, which is...
Yeah, that was high school for me. That was all kinds of high school. And then I was the one making out. Sorry.
Fair. On the Xbox menu this morning, as I veer away from that topic immediately, let's talk about some of Sarah Bond's statements, backward compatibility, and Activision, and how they all kind of loop in together. We've heard, or rather I should say, it was reported that Sarah Bond sent an email to the staff at Xbox talking about their next-gen hardware being the biggest technical leap in the next generation, and I have a hard time with that wording, and I'll talk to you guys about that in a bit. But in that same kind of email thread and topic, Sarah Bond was discussing how not only are they working on hardware, but they're also reigniting or reforming a version of the backward compatibility team in an effort to allow forward compatibility to be the norm, which is something that I thought sort of already existed, but I'm anxious to kind of hear your thoughts on, because we're finding that game libraries are extending multiple generations now to the point where generations don't matter except in the console space. People just expect their game libraries to exist in perpetuity. And that, you know, also segues into the idea of bringing Activision Blizzard in. So there's a lot to quote Ainsley Bowden from Seasoned Gaming, there's a lot to unpack within that. But I want to start with the idea of the biggest technical leap ever in a generation. I take umbrance with that phrase because Xbox has been using that phrase for 2 generations now, and it hasn't mattered for diddly how hard or how powerful the hardware is. It hasn't made the big difference for Xbox, and we haven't seen in multiple decades the most powerful hardware be the successor in the console space. And so I'm curious, and I'll start with Logan on this one. When you see the verbiage of the biggest technical leap ever in a generation, do you feel the same qualms that I do, or do you feel hopeful for Xbox's future on a hardware front?
No, I'm right with you. It feels really scary to have them like boasting about this kind of thing, because every time like they do this, it sets expectations. And then if it sets expectations that people are going to be like, this is the largest generational leap, when we actually get the hardware, it's going to be like, that wasn't that big a leap. Like my PC is still like better. And I'm glad that it's only like $500, but guys, this is not a huge leap. Like we need to like kind of like slow your roll. Let's try and get like games out at like 4K 60 and like let's get that as like the norm, and not try and set like these like expectations that it's like this is going to be the biggest thing that you've ever seen. It's like I don't need it to be the biggest thing it's ever seen. I just need some consistency with the games, brother. Let's just like get some understanding that you don't got to prop this up. Let the hardware speak for itself, because it like PlayStation 5 is going into a mid-roll gen for their hardware, and it's like, okay, well, we're going to see a small bump from them. Like, do we really need to be saying like going all out with the next? I don't know, because then it's going to end up being like this Xbox Series X with no disk drive, and it's like, is that what it is? Because if it is, then that's going to be like that's not a leap. That's a retraction. I don't know.
Baron?
What do you think, Baron?
You know what? I think we're gonna run into a situation where Xbox and Microsoft does the thing where they're 4 to 5 years ahead, and we won't understand and appreciate it until it becomes the norm with every other piece of tech out there. Let's look at the Xbox One. Yes, it didn't launch in the best way, but everything about the Xbox One is the world we live in now. Everything is connected. You're talking to your machines. Your machines are doing things for you. It's very, very Jetsons. Like, you know, we're closer to the Jetsons than we think. And so, but once again, they were just too early. Like if the Xbox One would have came out today, it would fit perfect.
Right.
And so knowing that, maybe okay, back to the point. The phrase, yes, they shouldn't have said it. Long story short, shouldn't have said it. Let the tech talk for itself, because you constantly are too far ahead. You know, HoloLens way too far ahead. What, 6-7 years in advance? Now everybody's talking about, you know, Apple product being the best thing on earth when a HoloLens was letting you play God in Minecraft in a demo. Like, you know what I mean? So once again, they just, I agree with you, Logan. Like they need to just let it speak for itself and work on games, and just let everybody freak out about how great the console is and the tech is. I think that's the issue, is their marketing sucks.
Which is so strange, because there are windows of time, right? Like there's windows of time where I'm like, Xbox nailed it. Right. Their social media team seems like they've got the zingers and the memes, and they handled the Series S leak well. And then there are other times where I'm like, what are y'all doing? What is it? Right. Like we all lost our minds on social spaces maybe a week or a little less ago, because Xbox for the first time in forever promoted Halo. And we were like, oh, like, wait, what? Right. And Clint in chat, like, new Xbox fridge when they've nailed it with the Xbox fridges. The idea is we might have a toaster on the horizon, like the pins from Ben Kenobi, who was, shout out to Kay Asante. You had him on this morning. Love Asante. Like Xbox marketing can nail it, but then they can whiff something awful. And that's true of everybody. But I think it becomes an issue for Xbox, because different from PlayStation and Nintendo, Xbox seems to interact more with its fans. And the more interaction, the more opportunities for missteps, the more opportunities for wins. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but also you might miss pretty bad. So there's a mix and match there, and shout out to Soaking It. He loves his Xbox mini fridge. Even comes with a cable to plug it in the car. For all the car fridge use that it might be, right?
There's
That's pretty cool.
something here that I think is so weird about like Xbox. Like we just got the announcement for like that Jungle Vapor controller that came out, and it's like that's already in design lab, and it's like when they come out with controllers, it's like really cool because you get to see a really nice like design and stuff like that. But I would like if we're gonna have a technical leap, like I would actually like to see them do a technical leap with the controllers more than the hardware, because I feel like the hardware is like on a pretty steady pace, kind of trailing right behind like PC for the generations. I want to see like them do something like interesting with the controllers, man. Because like I got this thing right here and I love it, and I got my Turtle Beach right here, and the Turtle Beach, honestly, it's doing some stuff that I wish the Xbox Series X controllers would do. Get some pack paddles that are programmable back there. Let's get a touchpad on there. Let's get some haptics in there. It's like I want to know like if the leaked documents from the court filings that they did that were talking about like the new controller that was supposed to come out, like is that what the hardware is? Like is that what they're talking about maybe? Or is it just like there's going to be a new console?
I think it's more so a console. But maybe it could be the way the controller, that would actually be great, the way the controller interacts with the console. I mean, we've seen PlayStation take some tips when it came to the controller setup. It looks more closer to the Xbox controller now in design. So maybe Xbox is going to do the same thing, like in those document leaks, and they're going to add some more interaction. Maybe we're going to have I don't know, in the future, Senua's voices coming through the controller. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe they'll put like a mood ring design. Like
you just see the red fingerprints of like how long you've been gripping that controller during the COD. And you just like, and it's like, oh, maybe I should go outside.
It's a heartbeat sensor. Like, take a break. Xbox pauses.
Oh my god!
Because the more you want in your controller, the more complex it will have to be, and the more complex it has to be means the more opportunities for it to break, the more expensive it is to repair, and the more opportunities you have to mess up a good thing. Why are you?
Who repairs? I feel like I'm the only one that actually like breaks open controllers and repairs them.
You are.
Who repairs them? But I mean, like,
probably
it's just you.
Alone.
I mean, if that's, but I mean, like the thing is like how many of y'all have bought a controller, even though the one that you have doesn't have drift or a broken bumper?
Sure. Yes. But so, I don't know that you're helping my point or your point. Like, what do you mean?
Like you're worried about like more points of failure in a controller. It's like people are buying controllers without broken controllers anyway.
Right. You got excited before I finished my thought. What I'm trying to say is that when you bring in more complexity, opportunities for breakage and whatnot, you also bring up the costs of that. So like Ellery in chat saying they want an Elite Series 3. I'm sorry, that was Sabarito in chat saying they want Elite Series 3. Yes, me too. But I don't necessarily want it to be more complex and more expensive because, to your point, Logan, my controllers work, right? The idea of like, okay, if we're gonna incentivize a new controller that is in terms of functionality, it needs to really do something, because so far we've had iterative improvements. It needs to really be different, and I'm cautious about the rising cost of elite controllers, right? Like the Turtle Beach one that you reviewed for us, $200+ depending on your market. That's an expensive barrier to have a premium experience in a console space, right? You've already got a lot of other expenses to just play. And so we've got to be cautious about that, I think, is just kind of where I was going with it.
That's fair. I mean, I know the glorious mouse that I have, I bought this on sale. This normally retails for like 80 some bucks, and it's like one of the best mice you can buy on the market. So I mean, in that sense, like controllers are getting a lot more expensive. It is harder to justify throwing another 200 at an Elite Series when the bumper stops working or something like that. But I think that they're just like price points need to stay the same. They just need to do more with the controller because the tech is there, but it's not being utilized. And I think that there's a failing on the part of consoles to evolve as quickly as what PC has been able to do in the time that they've been able to like make mice, to make, you know, programmable button. Like you take a look at like what's available for mice and keyboards and stuff nowadays, dude, it's a wild market. There's some crazy stuff out there. And controllers, you know, with all due respect, these have kind of stayed the same relatively for the last couple generations. And I feel like we're not really pushing too much.
Since PS3 and Xbox 360, we've had iterative improvements, right?
Yeah.
We'll add haptics or resistant triggers. We'll get the DualSense. We'll have that force feedback element, and like we'll have like different pieces, whatever the key term buzzwords they have, blast processing and such. It's kind of the same controller, right? You pick up a 360 controller, it feels like an Xbox One controller, it feels like a Series X controller. You know what to do. Now that's valuable in and of itself. But when we go back to Sarah Bond's comment about the biggest technical leap, we got into interface. Who's asking for the next leap in consoles? Because I don't think it's consumers. We've yet to push this hardware. Hellblade looks to me to be the first true Xbox made game to push the hardware in a way that we haven't seen this gen. And then of course I'm excited because Gears of War might do the same thing again. We're all hopeful of that, but like who's asking for new hardware?
Twitter? No. No. Because let's be honest. I like you mentioned, I feel like we haven't hit that point where, okay, it feels like every generation of consoles doesn't start pushing the envelope until the end. Like I think about, you know, Last of Us and whatnot, and that like you don't see these major pushes. Like what have we truly seen with Xbox right now? Like what game? Okay, Forza. But I when it comes to racing games, I feel like I expect, especially Forza, I expect it to be that limit pusher, like because that's what it sells itself on. But in terms of just any other casual game, I can't think of one where it's like, oh my God, this is the prettiest thing on earth. How is this running? Like, where's our Crisis? Where's
Cyberpunk? Cyberpunk 2077.
But even look at that. So it literally had to hit another generation of consoles for it to. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
like this gen let last gen games work.
That's
what it feels like.
That's what I'm saying.
It does.
So, man, I don't know. I guess I wonder if we had an extended time with this generation, what that would look like. Because you would think we would get an extended time, you know, with the whole Rona thing, and you would think this would add maybe 3 or 4 more years onto this generational cycle. I don't know. God, man. Where's our Crisis?
I'm kind of with you on this, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like PC has slowed the way consoles did with COVID. Like and it's weird because it feels like, I personally feel like we've just kind of stagnated at this point with the generation. Like like we've got good games. We've got some standout like games to look at and be like, these are really amazing experiences. But I'm with you. It feels like last generation games are the ones that play the best on the new hardware. And honestly, like, I don't know, man. It keeps coming back to like the amount of RAM with the Series S and the CPU slowdowns on the X and S and PlayStation 5 that are really kind of like causing some of the reasons why we aren't able to see as many options or I guess functionality with like the tweaks that we can make. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just expecting too much because I dabble between PC and Xbox, and consoles, like, they just don't have as many options as PCs do. And maybe that's a failing from my perspective is that I'm expecting more. When I get in there, I'm like, it's a tailored experience. I'm expecting to have options, and I don't have those.
And that's fair, right? But at the same time, I've always looked at consoles because for me, I'm a consumer first. As much as I do in this space with writing and all that other fun stuff and critiquing, blah blah blah, I'm a consumer. I do not develop games. I don't create games. So for me, the console experience is a perfect one because I pick it up, I put the game in, and I turn it on and hope my internet's connection is good. Like, and I
Mhm.
get the experience for the most part of what the creators wanted me to experience, barring bugs and
Mhm.
random things that they didn't anticipate for. Now with PC, I think that is where you get to be more creative in terms of as a consumer. Like I can have a tailored experience. I can run everything on ultra wide monitors if I decide to get it. I can hook up multiple monitors and stream it on one PC, but have it running on my beast. And
Mhm.
you could do all these things. And maybe so for me, when I look at the console space, I love the simplicity of it.
Mhm.
Now, of course, adding little advancements, like I think about the main reason I upgraded from my Xbox One to my Series X was the quick resume. Like it
Mhm.
was that one piece of that one piece of tech that was enough for me to be like, yeah, it's time to upgrade.
Hmm.
And that quick resume was the biggest, like literally sitting here talking with somebody, be like, "Oh, hey, you didn't check out this game?" Jumping into Resident Evil Village. Oh yeah. Oh hey, jump, like that was huge, and being able to just go back and forth so fast without any issue, it actually increased me getting through my backlog, even though my backlog is still growing. But that when I think of advancement, I'm looking for quality of life and like maybe you're gonna see better integration with social media,
Mhm.
like even though it was kind of there, but then that whole X thing kind of messed it up. But
Yeah, where do you
me,
send it? You don't
yeah,
send it to Threads isn't landing.
yeah, and
Twitter's
then
dead.
TikTok might not be here. Like it's
Mhm.
like no, but damn,
Mhm. Right?
right? Dang, oh god, yeah, that just got sad. But
Quite literally why XCP moved into the live space and Discord because we couldn't connect with people unless we
yeah,
did. And so
Mhm.
social spaces are changing. If I'm a billion-dollar company or I have integrated hardware that's supposed to talk to that, it's like, what do you do? Because the risk of those just going away
oh
are
wow,
far
yeah,
more detrimental.
It's a shame they didn't have like their own streaming platform where you could have like
huh,
communities and stuff to do that.
oh
Because then
man.
you'd be able to control like what the social experience was going to be
You're
for your
mixing it
con.
up too
Yeah,
much here.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, but
is
that
it?
would be a good mix of
Mm-hmm.
things, bringing together the mix of gaming and
Yeah,
mixing,
you know,
you know.
Yeah.
like you've got your base, and you just add like a little bit of a mixer into it to kind of like spice
Yeah,
it up.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Mm-hmm.
like that
huh.
would have been fantastic.
But once
Mm-hmm.
again, is this Microsoft and Xbox being ahead of the curve
Good point.
again?
Mhm. I think
Like
it is because the
they're
tech was better than
notorious.
Twitch.
They're
Mhm.
notorious for it. They're notorious for being too early and too loud.
Mhm. Yep.
Like, oh my god.
Can I draw a quick parallel, and then I think we should probably shift over to our patrons. Um, Apple is kind of like the ones that watch where the market is going, and they don't really come out first when it comes to their products, but they've seen what people are testing and playing around with, and they come up with their own version and present it as like their idea, like it was a grand thing that they came up with. When a lot of features and functionality that they have in their hardware
Mhm.
tends to be stuff that has been around on other devices for a while. And in this case, I think Microsoft could be compared to, say, like a Samsung, who has features
Mhm.
a really early, but they're not like tested and refined, and sometimes they get dropped off. And then you get a PlayStation that comes in, sees what's worked, refines it, and creates their own version of it, and they tend to succeed with that because it's already been beta tested through Microsoft.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, you make a good point, and I think that's in this analogy, Sony or Nintendo, depending on your topic, could be the Apple, and
Mm-hmm.
Xbox consistently is the Android. Um,
Yep.
and that's just kind of the way it goes. I think both are hugely important, though. Both are hugely important. But let's go ahead and put a pin in that thought and come back to the idea of Activision games coming into Game Pass, and then we'll move on to Fallout. But we do want to read our patrons this week. Let me pull up the right thing here because I'm fancy and I've got video clips. Logan, is it my turn to read or yours?
I believe it is your turn this week.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's go here. Boom. We want to give shout outs to our tier 2 and 3 members over at patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. We greatly appreciate all of you. Our shout outs this week go to Chris 1H1D, Nicholas Johnson, Ellery Woods Parker III, Nicholas Downey, Rob Frawley II, Tao Zochi, Xbox Skittle, Matto 1606, Randall Thor 19, Silkenet, Rick Gaffney, African, aka Charles Jones, Game Positive, Jam Pack Sam, Matt Valdez, Neo Prime 33, Rick Davis, Red Beast, Xbox Mike 29, the Lord, Sir, Master, and Allfather James Suddy, Brendan Myers, aka the Winter Gamer, Sony's VP of Marketing Kevin Butler, Clint Coombs, DJ Hero, and Dano12. Thank you guys for going to patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. And an extra shout out, please, to Matto1606, who in the course of the week, not when we were live, became a channel member at tier 2. And that is greatly appreciated. We are so appreciative of you. That helps us grow. It helps us adjust. And as we made the transition over to live, anytime you guys choose to support by way of clicking like, subscribe, super chat, channel memberships, Patreon, we are just consistently grateful because the gaming space is difficult. And as algorithms change, we want to be here for you guys. So, all right, let's go to the idea of Activision games entering into Game Pass. Next to Sarah Bond's comments this past week, we also heard word from her that Diablo 4 was bolstered quite a bit by Xbox Game Pass, as Xbox became the #1 space for Diablo 4 players, which is very well timed given the updates that are coming to Diablo. But also, we saw that Spyro Reignited Trilogy was making its way onto Game Pass for PC clients. Not out yet, but we were starting to see like achievements show up in certain places, which lends credence to the idea of Activision games being kind of fully integrated into Game Pass. Phil Spencer had said early on that he would not see a day where they were all just going to bam pop up. But Logan, you asked a question in our notes that I wonder if you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I kind of want to know if we're going to be getting closer, because like the deal went through last year, and the question on everyone's mind was, when are we going to get like all of these great back compat games, right? Like, when are these going to be coming to Game Pass? Because when the Bethesda, when the ZeniMax deal came through, like we had stuff like dropping fast. They were like fast and loose with stuff. They're like day one, they're like, congratulations, you're getting like all these Fallout games and Skyrim and stuff. And now everyone's kind of sitting back like, okay, well, like what's going to come to Game Pass for Activision Blizzard? Because, I wouldn't mind having my WoW subsidized into that Game Pass Ultimate. Ooh, that'd be nice. So like I'm sitting here kind of wondering, like, are we getting closer to that back compat drop for Game Pass? Like, do we think that this could be like a big summer thing, like Activision being in the summer showcase? Are we going to finally see like what's going to come to the Game Pass Ultimates?
I think, and chat, I open that up to you guys. Baron, is there a game that's back compat for Activision titles that you desperately want to see?
I really would. I want to see, not that I play it anymore, but I want to see WoW get subsidized, whether it's a discount, whether it's for what is, I can't believe, Game Pass Ultimate, whether it's for Game Pass Ultimate members, it's no extra cost. I want to see that, because that'll truly be the biggest flex that they could do. I mean, you already got all the I think about what they do with Riot. I have access to every character, every in Valorant, which is easy, what, $80 to $100 value, like just off rip. Every new character I got access to, you get bonus and experience points. So I already see what can happen. Just do it with the games you own now.
But did that boost the Riot catalog? Like, or did people go to Game Pass?
I play Valorant now
because of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have to buy any extra characters. I have access to every I can't believe I'm forgetting what they're called, but every Valorant member. And I know it was more of a charity event that got me started, but what made it a lot easier was connecting my Game Pass account, getting a boost to my XP, getting but dude, just think about what it would do to WoW. So many more people would go and try it. Like it instantly would happen. And then you could just give away skins. There's so much stuff they could do, and they wouldn't even have to completely give away a free membership. Even if you gave away something like a 6-month trial, whatever. Like, do a Final Fantasy 14 thing, and hey, up to this level is free. And then after this, that's when the pay starts hitting. Then if you're an Ultimate member, you only pay this much. Even though, let's be real, they could afford to just make it no cost to Ultimate members. And you know how the subs would go through the roof.
Well, would it? Because Clint, I've got a chat spotlighted right now. If I get my WoW sub with Game Pass Ultimate, I'll go crazy. It would also pull hundreds of thousands of people, PC players into Game Pass. Really?
Yeah, because you're paying the same price. You're paying the exact same price.
Because what is it, 15 a month?
$15 a month is just the WoW sub, not including like the cost of the expansions. If you roll like WoW sub into Game Pass Ultimate, you just got yourself millions of subscribers, because they will 100% turn around and be like, yeah, if I'm paying for the same amount of price for WoW right now, and I get Game Pass Ultimate for PC, that's a done deal. That's the dumbest thing you could avoid.
Okay. Yeah. So here's my counter logic, and talk me through it. Those people probably have all their cards on auto pay, all this, that, or the other set, ready to go, right? You would have to educate this audience who doesn't know console, Xbox is console, who doesn't know what it means to be in Game Pass, because they are WoW. They are WoW. These are WoW players. They're not likely to make the jump from what and this is an anecdotal thought, right? I don't see them knowing what it is unless you can get a 2-step process, a 1 button to 2 button in client, or real close to in client. You've got to make that transition very simple to incorporate the two. Otherwise, I don't think that hundreds of thousands is happening. I think thousands is happening, but hundreds of thousands or a million, I don't see that in the slightest.
Here's how you do it. 1 button click, convert your WoW sub to a Game Pass Ultimate, get all of these titles included with your WoW sub.
If it works in 1 or 2 clicks, I agree. But like,
you can do it in Battle.net. Like, happen? Dude, the ease of Battle.net or the Battle.net app is so prolific. Like, they have little splash pages that pop up every time there's a sale, every time there's a new expansion or something like that. It just pops up and says like, hey, this is what's going on. You got to click out of it. But dude, the Battle.net app is so easy that like you can just go through stuff. They could very easily just be like, all right, it's just like a transfer for your character. You click buy, you click the server you want to go to, and it transfers your character. You click on Game Pass Ultimate, it converts your account, and you log into a Microsoft account, and boom, you're done. Like, people are already doing this kind of weird stuff on PlayStation with Sea of Thieves. Like, it's if you show them all the stuff that they're getting with their WoW sub cost. That's easy, man. That's like, hey, did you want to have like a month's worth of food on top of like your cheeseburger for fast food? Because if you're already buying the cheeseburger, you can get a month's worth of food if you want.
And honestly, what's on page, right? What's on the stream right now? The WoW sub and Game Pass would bring me back. Let's say you only convert 5 to 10% of people, because you'll get at least that. Like, just on principle alone, like, you mean I don't have to buy any more games and I get to get all these other experiences? So, because if I'm already paying the monthly, why would I want to buy something else? You know what I mean? So I already get this add-on. So you get your 5 to 10%. I think that's a safe number. I think that's an honest number. But think about folks like that. I would get back into WoW.
Okay.
And then that money I'm saving, the money that kept me from WoW,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have a hard time buying something now. I wouldn't have
So
a hard time getting into the economy because I spend money in Valorant. I
all
buy
of you are
skins.
making good sense. Like you're making good sense. I'm seeing the chat. I see Bacon's at WoW players wouldn't go to console Game Pass. It would be huge for PC Game. I see all of you. I think all of the logic, Baron, that you and that Logan and that the people in our chat that Nisa are saying, all that logic is there, but it goes over the head unless you do what Clint had said a few minutes back, an Xbox mount. You get special themed goodies in game because something that Logan consistently preaches about Sea of Thieves, cosmetics are everything. So if you get them to switch and they get an in-game something, okay, then I see you converting that many. It says we say it's easy. Well, we talked 30 minutes ago about Xbox marketing.
They're horrible.
True, but Xbox Game Pass has perks, and they promote those perks a lot. And Twitch drops for WoW stuff has been going on. So Blizzard has already been investing in Twitch through Amazon for Twitch drops for there. It's very easy for them to cut a deal where certain mounts that are, you know, in the store, like in WoW store, are being put into Game Pass Ultimate perks. And you just say, hey, if you want these mounts, convert from WoW sub to Game Pass Ultimate, you get to retain your WoW access, and you get that benefit, and you can get access to the Game Pass perks for the cosmetics.
You know what? That could actually be. I like that you keep saying convert, because that could almost be a way where you kind of push it on people.
You
Game
Pass for $1, upgrade Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass. That thing,
like you kind of, or you even like bully and you do like regional rollouts. Like, hey, we're making some changes.
Make it optional first.
Yes, of course, make it optional first. Or you could do some regional tests and let people put out glowing reviews. Like, hey, what do you mean? Okay, because I think the better way would be to be sneaky about it and let people be mad on Twitter, but people in the gaming space would love it. Like, social media would hate it. I promise you. I know for a fact social media would hate it. We hate change. But you go in and you start just slowly adding things to people who are already subscribed. Like, oh, hey, have you ever played Skyrim? Now for WoW account holders, here's Skyrim. And then you just slowly start seeding in games. And then next thing you know, you didn't realize that you're in Game Pass Ultimate because you already paid for it.
I like the thought, but I think you're better off doing the in-game client convert. I understand where you're coming from, but I think the convert is a better way. And like Saburito said something that made too much sense. You know, Master Chief outfits or some sort of cross. Yes, but like that hasn't happened in COD yet. We haven't seen the Doomslayer armor. That's Bethesda, not even Activision, in Halo Infinite. Why? So their consistent aversion to cross promotion is beyond me, because when those Master Chief and Halo cosmetics showed up in Sea of Thieves, yes, I'm here. You know what I mean? So yes, but it makes too much sense. It's too easy. It's too easy. And so we're talking WoW right now. One of our time, and I do want to come back to other back and pack games later in the show, but then transition this into Fallout. Right now, they're riding absolute high right now, as Fallout has, you know, the Amazon show is apparently amazing. I know Logan's watched it. Baron, have you watched it?
2 episodes in.
2 episodes. Okay.
I picked up New Vegas.
Amazing. See, even Luke Lohr, who does, I'm anti Fallout because everybody memes me for looking like Fallout Boy. Right?
We're not. It's not memeing. It's AI identification. We're trying to help the algorithm understand that you are
I need a
the
new
Vault
co-host.
Boy.
I need a new. But like my biggest thing is like as that arrives, how do you convert Fallout 76 people? You offensive, disrespectful guest.
Luke, why do you have two versions of you up on the screen? This feels like a little like I don't get this kind of screen time.
I hate it here. I hate it here. This is the worst podcast in the history of podcasts. This is
look
why
at
I like
Baron going out. Ooh, that's hot.
This is the yeah. Okay, I'll be normal.
For those that are just listening, he held up a plastic mask of the Vault Boy for a while, and then he grabbed his Pip Boy off the desk there, and Luke is just seething in hatred of looking in the mirror.
I hate everything right now. Yes, chat. I see all y'all.
You need some
punking
more
me right
self-love.
Love yourself, man. You're a great icon.
Well.
You make a great bubble.
I have so much other stuff, but I'd mess up my camera to show you guys.
Oh, I love
I'm
you
a
so
sucker
much.
for Fallout.
Well, that's a real shame, Baron. God. I'll say so. God. All right. So the idea of getting subscribers of Game Pass into your live service, things like Fallout 76, like WoW, can it be that easy? Can it be that easy? And I guess that's kind of the big thing because, like, I'm thinking about playing Fallout now, and I get obsessive about stuff. We know that I get locked in on an IP. That is something that I do. Side note, I'm playing Giga Bash right now because it's got Godzilla DLC. It's really fun. Who would have thought, right? So, like, how do you get Fallout 76 players into Game Pass for PC if they're not already?
Into Game Pass. You give it away for free on Amazon Prime.
And then you market it.
Well, like Amazon Prime right now has Fallout 76 for free for Xbox and PC client. 2 codes. Like I redeemed the PC code and the Xbox code because I was using them through Game Pass. But if you want to convert people, boom, just give them the game. Just say like, hey, you're watching Amazon Prime. You're watching Fallout. Congratulations. You also get access to the latest game for free.
Microsoft seriously needs to pay for some ad space to pop up on Amazon Prime. The fact that that's not a thing bothers me. Like, why don't I see ads at all in any way, shape, or form? Because whenever I don't know if you guys have Amazon Prime, when you boot up a Amazon Prime original, they usually run a commercial or something before showing what they got. All you got to do is play the Fallout 4 trailers. Remember, those were amazing. Like literally, that's all you have to do. And it would be a quick, easy home. Their marketing sucks. Look, if it's not a controller, they just don't know how to sell it.
Okay, question. Are they waiting to do that until the upgrades for Fallout 4 come?
They're not gonna.
I know the answer is no, but I wanted you to say it.
It's not gonna do it, and it kills me because there's so many layups. I should be sick of seeing Fallout ads right now. I should be sick to my stomach of seeing Fallout ads. I should be seeing. Remember the way that everybody was about The Last of Us? What did we see around the time of The Last of Us? All of a sudden, we got The Last of Us remake on the TV show. We got The Last of Us brought over to PS5. Like they really rode the wave, brought out a upgrade version of a game that most people thought was unnecessary, but it captured all the people who enjoyed the show.
But aren't they kind of doing that? I mean, Logan put in here Fallout 76 free on Amazon Prime for Xbox and PC. Fallout 3 and New Vegas are free for Amazon Luna. Fallout franchise is on sale on Steam for 80% off. And you've got the upgrades for Fallout 4 on the way, which is what I would likely get into. Because I don't want a live service. I can't handle more of my live service plate. But like as someone who
But I know more about the new Moss green controller than I do about those sales.
I see your point. Okay, so that's more the issue, is that while these things are happening, you're not
Yes.
seeing it. That's more what
seeing
you're
it.
saying. I see. Okay, interesting. Okay.
I think that's a fair point. And the reason I was waving my hand is because Fallout 76, while a live service game, should not be considered a live service game. It should just be considered an online Fallout game, because all of the content that they come for live service is all just kind of shoved in there. But it's like all the content that they've ever made is available. You just play through it like an online Fallout game with NPCs and storylines and all that jazz. And it's really fun.
So when you say that opens me up to like, okay, should I be checking out 76 or Fallout 4 when it's remastered or upgrade or whatever? 4. You're saying 4, Baron.
I'm playing through both right now. I'm probably going to wait to pick 4 back up when they do the update and play through that on console as opposed to the PC, because the PC client isn't as strong, I don't think. But yeah, I would say probably 4. Just knowing you, I would say 4.
And then there's no pressure of internet and running with folks, and you just seriously at your own pace without any. It's just you pick it up and play.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, then let me ask you this. In the thumbnail for the show, I talked about Fallout being the future for Xbox. So much was made to do of Halo and what the Halo show could have done. And then, of course, we were punching the balls on that one. Season 2, good. Doesn't make up for season 1, but still good. All that pressure that was on Halo. And then there was all this pressure on Starfield and Redfall. Whoops. I don't know anyone talking about either. It's never good. And I like Starfield and I like Redfall, but like the reality is it's not a big audience, right? At least not compared. It doesn't feel like it. So with, Gears of War, the possibility of that coming back last week, we know there's a show in there at Netflix. The movie is sure it's happening. Okay. I believe that, like I get the Snyder cut when I see it. And it doesn't feel like there's a big Xbox franchise until all of a sudden we have this Fallout show, which only the Fallout people, to me, were excited about. And now that we've got a hit, all these people that don't know Fallout are like, let me check this out. I think, is it possible that Fallout was not the underdog, but like that come from behind win that Xbox needed?
Yes. If they market it right, God, I'm so sorry I keep saying it, because as somebody who's invested, as somebody who does this as a part-time / full-time job, right? I still feel like I don't hear enough about what Xbox owns property-wise. I feel like I don't know enough of you would think Xbox would be hitting home runs right now. And for you don't have to sell me, right? I'm already here. I'm already invested. As soon as I seen the Power Armor dudes walking in the background, I was hooked. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to sell me. But what about little Timmy, who's 15, who wasn't old enough to even look at the game cover? Like sell him, because he can't watch the show. His parents probably not letting him watch it. So how do you experience the show here? Oh, you love what they're doing in California? Have you heard of the NCR? Like, it just
I don't even know what the NCR is.
But this is what I'm okay. Like, this is what I'm saying. There's so much there, and it really does, in my opinion, lean back to marketing. And I believe that that's something they need to double down on. Make me sick of it. Like, this should be almost mobile ad level. Like, we should be so grossed out with how many ads we're seeing. And I don't know. Maybe I just want too much. But no, because I see enough ads for controllers.
And
I'm a sucker. Oh, what did Clint say? If they released the Fallout series one by one, then at the end of the episode announced Fallout 5, the internet would have broken. And let me tell you this. Let me tell you why that actually, not that it's a possibility. It's a possibility because anything's possible. But remember, in recent memory, in recent gaming, I still believe that Fallout 4 had the greatest rollout of modern games. If folks remember, they announced it and then it released within like 6 months. And then throughout that time, they did the special videos. They put out a mobile game. They like the rollout for Fallout 4 was top tier. And if you had some magical opportunity, if I could snap my fingers, this would be the next perfect way to roll out. So yeah, absolutely right. 1000% agree.
Logan, you were shaking your head. No.
No. Is Fallout the future of Xbox? I don't think so. I think Fallout.
But it's a hit.
I think Fallout has done really well to capitalize on a fantastic show. Granted, I've only watched the first episode, but looking at the ratings for it, this thing is rated as good as the Last of Us show. There's a fair amount of shows that are rated better in most places, but I mean, it's a really good show. I think the thing is they were planning on doing Starfield, and then they wanted to do Elder Scrolls 6. Because everyone's been asking when is the next Elder Scrolls going to be, because we got Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is a good game now, and it's a really amazing community, but nobody wants to play it because it had one of the hardest launches and broken promises that Bethesda's ever done. And after Fallout 4, a lot of people were kind of left a little low and were hoping for a really good Fallout game. So I think that this is going to do really well to revitalize the franchise, but I don't think that Xbox should be leaning on this as the future of their ecosystem. I think that their bread and butter is going to always come back to Gears, Halo. I still honestly think that they should really they use like Sea of Thieves as their test bed. We've got things like Perfect Dark and Fable coming up. Those I think are going to be the future of Xbox. I think Fallout will have a really nice moment, but it's going to be a hot minute before we see a new Fallout game. And they're still doing updates to 76. Like, they just launched a new season.
Is 76 not the way to bridge the gap? Or, God forbid, we put In Exile or Obsidian on a project?
I would love for another studio to take a crack at Fallout, honestly, because I think how Bethesda develops games, while there's an understanding of what you're going to get, I think their design elements are a little out of date, and I think that they need to refresh how they do games. But they're so locked in on that system, that engine that they're using, that creation engine, that I think that we're going to see Starfield in fantasy with Elder Scrolls 6, and a lot of people are going to have some of the same criticisms that they have with Starfield when they look at that, and then they compare it to things like Fallout 4 or Skyrim, and it's going to be like a little bit of like I think Bethesda needs to evolve a little more. And I would love to see another studio take a crack at a Fallout game, because I think we could probably see a really amazing game from a studio that does it really, really well. I mean, just look at what Obsidian's doing with things like Avowed and The Outer Worlds. Like, they're doing their versions, and their versions are still very Bethesda, but they're a little more up to date with like game development, and they're using Unreal.
Does that not fall on Sarah Bond or Matt Booty's shoulders to say, Bethesda, we know you want control of Fallout, of your properties, of Starfield, but Obsidian has time, they need a project, or they have a second team, or they have something, and get them out of that old Bethesda creation engine mentality? Because I really, really enjoyed Starfield. What I loved most about it was my time with Starfield was so different than yours, Logan, and probably yours, Ben. Like, we all experienced something different, but it was very clearly a dated experience, despite my love for it. I loved a lot of it, but it felt very dated in some pieces. Maybe it is indeed time for others to take a crack at some of these beloved franchises. We know it was successful with Fallout New Vegas, and I see people in chat talking about New Vegas and wanting that. But you've got Obsidian and Exile and all of Bethesda game studios at your disposal. Why not allow someone to take a new crack? We're seeing now pretty hefty and healthy reports that Halo is making a transition into Unreal Engine for its next game. Marcus Lato, by the way, is liking all of those tweets, and he just left EA, and he's the original co-creator of Master Chief. So that's an interesting little tinfoil hat thing that some people are jumping on. But why not let new minds take control? Because a lot of Xbox IP have been stagnant and not showing growth, next to the console market not showing growth. And Xbox seems to, in some ways, left hand really want to grow, and in other hands really be locked in, not wanting to move. Why not why is Sarah Bond or Matt Booty not saying, hey, go do this, fix this? Is that something they should be doing? Are they doing it? We don't know about it. What's the thought process in that?
You know what? It's weird because these companies, and I don't know if it's like a legal thing. I don't know. And this is across the board. There's so many easy money-making layups that can happen. You know, you think Nintendo, if they just put all the GameCube and all of, Nintendo 64 games on the Switch digital store, like we'd spend our money like crazy. Xbox, I mean, they still haven't put all of Gears on PC, am I correct? Like it just makes too much sense, and it seems like they ignore it. I don't get it, because New Vegas 2 would be a home run. Like without a doubt. I mean, hell, you could even dig deep and just remake New Vegas. Like if they remade New Vegas, that would be a hit. If you put New Vegas and gave it the modern touch up of a Fallout 4, not so much exactly Fallout 4, that's not what I'm asking for, but I don't know, it's weird. It's really weird, and maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but
maybe none of us do, but right? As consumers, it's our dollar that they have to win.
And that's thank you. That's the angle I always attack things from. I am a consumer first. I buy things. I don't create them. I buy things. So let me buy New Vegas 2. Let me buy a Fallout game in between now and when Bethesda makes Fallout 5. Let me buy an Elder Scrolls game that's not online only in between now and when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. Like that's not mobile, that's not Blades, which I did play a lot of. But like let me spend my money. Like, why are y'all not giving me the opportunity to buy these games? And put out a physical collector's edition, damn it.
What, you want more Fallout Pip-Boy stuff? Is that what it is?
Don't look, man. Don't make me. I'll start. Bro.
Don't you pull that mask back out?
Hey, I got stuff. I have stuff, man. This could get bad, but no, like let me consume.
Yeah,
like and then ride these waves.
That's fair. Logan, what do you think? Does Sarah Bond need to make an executive decision?
I think that and I think this falls on Matt Booty. If I were, here's what I would do. If I was either Matt Booty or Todd Howard, here's what I would do. I would take a look at the success of the Fallout show. I would pull a small team away from Starfield or Elder Scrolls, whichever one's doing that. Let them put together a team. Whoever's the most passionate about the Fallout series, I would pull them and I'd say, okay, here's what I want you to do. Create a 15 to 20 hour single player experience in Fallout that follows the story of the characters or tertiary characters from the Fallout show in that world near Vault 33, and let people feel like they're part of the show by playing through this smaller experience. Start that up now, let that kind of bleed into and let it fall towards the end of the second season of the show, and then give people something to play for Fallout so that they have something in an understanding of how the game works and feels that kind of harkens back to the old PS2 Xbox days where you had these kind of movie show tie-in games, but with the understanding that it's going to be canon and it's going to be developed with the creators and design influence into it, and let Todd be able to kind of bounce back and forth. Like he wants to jump into Elder Scrolls and stick with Starfield for a little while. Cool. Let's have him just kind of dip in and actually build out like a little smaller Fallout experience for players. And then just let us have something like that gives us the opportunity to have a fresh take on a Fallout game.
I like Ellery in chat. They're saying that they love multimedia lore. I'm very much the same. I love when things cross pollinate. I love when I can go one place to experience an IP and then go somewhere else. That same IP or something adjacent, kind of within that realm, is there. But that's because I lock in on IP, right? Like I do get locked in. I watched Godzilla. I'm the Godzilla skins in COD. I'm playing Gaga Bash. There's a Godzilla mobile game. Like I get locked in on stuff. Watching Monarch. And I love the way they all interact. Having that for something as deep as Fallout could do for Xbox, I think, what they wanted Halo to do. Because I don't think the Halo show brought people into Halo Infinite the way that they thought or hoped it would. I also don't think Halo Infinite was ready. They did some really cool stuff this past season, which was the last season, as it were, not update, but season, where you could play as Silver Team's armors. You could get their armors by way of the weekly ultimates. That was awesome. But how many of the Halo Infinite players knew who Cat 451 was versus, oh my God, I can't even remember her name, versus the other Silver Team members? And that's the give and take of multimedia lore. Is there the risk of trying too hard to cross pollinate? But I think that Fallout should be a pillar for Microsoft, given that this is such a success and they have such an opportunity and already have the ability to get Fallout to so many people across Epic Game Store, PlayStation, Steam, Xbox, PC, Game Pass for PC. They can get Fallout to people, but you should have that be a pillar, just as you should have Halo and Forza and now WoW and now Call of Duty. And Xbox's identity is just less central to a Master Chief skin, which they still should do.
100%. Easy layup.
Yep. Thoughts on that? Anyone? No? Just agreeing? I mean, like, do we agree on that, or is it?
No, I'm 1,000% with that, because you own these things now. Let people know you own them. Let people know you own one of the hottest TV shows out that does such a beautiful job of adding little moments that only people who played the game would know without shoving it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like seeing the Pit-Boy and seeing the screens, watching the Pit-Boy be used for all the different things it's used for, and them not forcing it down the viewer's throat, but as a fan of the franchise, freaking out because like, what? Like they're doing it? And my wife is looking at me like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. That's this, and that. But bro, they have an opportunity. Like, they need to real-time pivot. Real-time pivot. Have fun with it. Like, why work extra hard against what's already a home run? Just boost them up. That's it. Where's the dynamic theme for Halo? For Fallout. Where's the, like, you got the controller, which I know more about the controller than I do about the Fallout series and sales. But like, lean into what's winning.
I have to toss this out there because it rubs me the wrong way. Fallout does have a dynamic theme.
Oh, okay.
Does it?
It does.
If you say it's on PlayStation,
still doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
it still bugs the hell out of me. But yeah, back at the beginning of March, they released a Fallout TV series dynamic background for the Xbox Series X and S. And I know because every time they announce one of these dynamic backgrounds, I quote tweet it and at Sea of Thieves, and I'm like,
wow.
When? So
we got an avowed one before Sea of Thieves.
Yes. Yes.
But that just shows you, once again, not leaning into the marketing. Like, not leaning into the thing that's winning. Like, your game is the top seller, top pre-order and top seller on the competition console, and you don't have a dynamic background for it. And I'm actually waiting to see the Sea of Thieves PlayStation controller. I still think we're going to get it. I missed out on the Xbox one, but if they release that PlayStation one, I'm buying it.
I'll be really interested to watch, with all our talk of Fallout, I'm curious to see just how they handle two franchises in particular this year, Hellblade 2 and Avowed, because Indiana Jones has an established fan base. I still don't think it's as big as some people say, but Avowed is a new IP, And Hellblade is a very niche experience, and it's not doing for the Xbox community what I think many thought it would. That's not to say it looks bad or anything like that, but I'm saying, like, I think we all 2 years ago were like, this is gonna be our God of War. When you saw that Series X reveal, you were like, let's go, here it is. This is us. And it's not trying to do that, which is fine. But how Xbox and Microsoft manage the marketing, manage the cross-pollination across their other brands of Hellblade and of Avowed will be very telling, I think, to what their true strategies are going to be, because we've watched, Baron, to use your word, we watched a pivot start to take place in how Xbox is rolling out IP, how they're managing games. We've seen games go dark. Pardon the pun, perfect dark. We haven't heard about that. Yeah, that was unintentional. We haven't heard about State of Decay in a good while. Ooh. And quite seriously, we haven't heard about Gears of War in a while. Like, Jeff Grubb saying Gears of War is not hearing about Gears of War. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the same thing as news, or pardon me, not news, as marketing, as promotion. So how this Xbox showcase in June, how Summer Game Fest, how Call of Duty, how Hellblade and Avowed are managed will be very, very interesting to watch as we go forward, because I think it'll show what it is they want to do to promote their games. We're talking all about Fallout and its promotion right now, and you're upset that you're not seeing it more. I'm not sure we're as dire as you sound, Baron, but I also am not happy with certain approaches for it. But also, like, you know, our content's curated. Maybe it's happening and we don't see it on our timeline.
That could okay. I always no. And I like that. I hope I'm wrong. When it comes to this, I truly hope I'm wrong. But one thing I have noticed is, for the most part, when I see a PlayStation ad, all the way up until the end of the commercial, I know what I'm looking at and I know who it's for and who it's from. Mm-hmm. Even at the end of the commercial, they do the whole play anywhere, and then most of the time they show the console and controller.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It does the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let folks know, like, this is yours. This is where you find it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's going to be the best experience.
Fallout is tricky though, because it's always been multi-plat. Like, we don't have console exclusive. So I see where you're going, but you know, they walk into a GameStop or they go onto their PlayStation, they're still going to see Fallout available there.
But guess what? But let's take it modern, right? We don't even have to reach that far back. People thought Hogwarts Legacy was a PlayStation exclusive.
That's right. That's true. That does happen when you have marketing tied in. You do see that take place a lot, at least on the PlayStation side. And I don't know if they're better at it or it's a matter of install base.
They're better. No, it's a marketing thing. Because how do you convince the masses that a multi-plat game that even made its way to Switch and PC was exclusive? Marketing.
I feel like I need to do a bit of digging on this, because I see where you're coming from, Baron, because every time I've ever gone to a theater and they have like a game ad or something like that, I'm always hearing the Sony sounds, and then I see like the play it anywhere, and then there's the console right at the end. And same thing with the Switch, big red screen, there's the Switch right there. I can't say that I've really seen that, but that's where I want to like do a little digging and be like, okay, is this the Nelson Mandela effect where, like, I think I remember the way it looks, but it's not actually true? But
typically you see the Xbox spiral in logo but not a console.
They should do the console thing if they aren't.
They're not.
I think that's a powerful thing.
Guys, let me put a pause on that and just give a shout out to our chat here. We've already got 20 plus people in here live watching on YouTube. Seeing a lot of good thoughts from Ellery Woods Parker III, Clint and Bacon, and Chris from 1H1D is here, RSJ Fan 05 and Happy Cloud Gamer. Thank you guys. Nisa is here. Some comments I wanted to spotlight. First from Ellery Woods Parker III saying they would love an animated miniseries for Avowed. That's a prequel to the game that's released before the game. That would have been that would be a great way. Like, you pop that on Netflix or Amazon, or not Paramount, Netflix or Amazon, and you get people saying, what is this world? What is Avowed? allow that to run kind of alongside the great animated shows of Castlevania, and I forget the Riot games, one that was so popular.
Arcane.
Thank you. Allow that to exist. Absolutely. That would be a great way to put it. Happy Cloud Gamer talking about how he would really love to see a new Quake open world single player game from id this summer.
Wow.
I think it would be dope if it was in the next 6 months if they did that. Don't let that. We got a crowded year for Xbox games, and we already know marketing to our whole kind of theme here has been, if it's on the runway, then yes, I agree, because I would love to see Quake make a return. I think Doom is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I think Wolfenstein's run its course. So Quake would be a great bring that into the fold. But Machine Games is operating with Indiana Jones at the moment. And
do you think that's going to be a flop?
I do. They just not hesitate immediately. I think Indiana Jones is gonna. I think it's flash in the pan and done. No one wants Indiana Jones.
No, is that because of the contention between first and third person swaps?
No, that's because Indiana Jones has no relevancy in this modern day.
How do you sell it to the kids?
I can't wait for you to eat crow on that.
Let me eat crow. That only helps Xbox and this brand if I eat crow.
Not if you're rooting against it. You're bagging on it for like years, and then like it finally comes out, and you're like, "Oh, it's the most amazing thing."
Who knows about Indiana Jones? Old people.
Okay,
old
here.
hats.
This is old. Well, this is my question, because I never really paid attention. Did the Tomb Raider games do very well, the modern ones?
They did not sell up to expectations for Square Enix, but yes, but
okay,
because it was in a modern era.
No, I got you, but in my head, if a modern Lara Croft can do well, a modern Tomb Raider can do well, I think a modern spin on Indiana Jones can do well. I think if they can really sell the gameplay, like seeing the whips crack at the Nazis, like if they could do a Baldur's Gate 3 and it's all marketing. If they could really get people, because let's be real, Baldur's Gate 3 sold because of the crazy marketing and the whole bear thing. Like, because as a fan, a lot of people did not know what they were getting into because they showed no gameplay and a lot of marketing for Baldur's Gate 3. Let's just be honest. I think they need to sell the moments, sell the crazy scenes. But yeah, I think they should have went third person. But that's just
you're gonna have to, because this is so frustrating for me as someone who's taught history and who works with young people. Nazis don't move a needle for most people. They just don't. Like, we have
they're not buying games. They're not buying the games. They're playing the Fortnites.
That is so out of touch in my mind to put Indiana Jones and say he's the one. Like, this man's fighting Fortnite. These kids weren't alive for 9/11. Like,
he's in Fortnite. Yeah. They know who he is. He's the Fortnite guy.
Nobody.
If they could sell it, if they could sell it like that, if they have fun with the packaging, they could make this work.
They could, but I have no confidence.
No confidence.
No confidence whatsoever in Indiana Jones as an IP that's going to move the needle. What's a successful run here? What's a successful run? And I see Nerd Chat in there. I don't know if that's Chipotle Bear, but Jose, if it is, do your kids care? Do your students care? Tell me. But real talk, like, what's a successful number of sales for Indiana Jones in year one? We just got word that Crash Bandicoot 4 has sold 5 million, and Toys R Us
I'd say 7.
You think 7?
I was going to say 5 to
7 million.
Yeah.
Guys, Spider-Man 2, what did it do in its first year?
No. PlayStation players don't buy their games. They don't buy games. Look at Final Fantasy Rebirth, 2 million copies sold. They don't buy their games.
So what? Final Fantasy, so 2 million is we're loving that. But you're telling me that we have to sell 7 million for Indiana Jones?
Okay, no, I'm so sorry, because when it comes to numbers, I'm horrible.
Look at Nerd Chat.
My head, I'm thinking what's it called is low. So in my head, with it being on Game Pass, if you could pull Final Fantasy 7 numbers, you're hitting all types of home runs.
Right? Right?
That's
And that's
fair.
what, 2 million?
But if they hit a million, I'd be shocked.
I'm right with you.
Okay, Nintendo sold ARMS. It was a brand new IP. It was one of the game in the beginning of 2017. That game has sold 2.5 million copies over the course of its lifespan.
You're helping my point. That's what I'm saying. You said it had to be
just
7.
Like Metroid doesn't sell.
Like, who's gonna buy Indiana Jones? You are gonna make less than $1 million.
Not Metroid. I'm sorry, but yeah,
you're ridiculous. You have no bearing on this. This is like Indiana Jones is like Hogwarts Legacy. It is a known IP. If it's a good game and it reviews well, it will sell millions of copies.
Bro,
how did Avatar?
More people saw Fantastic Beasts than did the latest 2 Indiana Jones movies. What are you talking about? Don't
disrespect Fantastic Beasts, bro.
I'm not trying to. What I'm saying is that's the offshoot of Hogwarts, of Harry Potter, next to J.K. Rowling's mess. And like, look at how that is. Who knows Harry Potter? Who knows Indiana Jones? Less than you're proving my point. Like, I don't understand
that. I don't have an Indiana Jones tattoo. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't get all my. I feel like
I'm. You House Slytherin. You House Slytherin, right?
No, I'm Ravenclaw, but I'm a Death Eater.
Got you.
You all are proving my point. You're proving my point. Harry Potter is more popular. You are helping my case. There is no way on this green earth, on this flat earth, young men, that there's no way that this Indiana Jones does 2 million Final Fantasy numbers, and the idea that 7 million is successful is even more outside the mind here. This thing's doing 1 million at best.
I'm gonna tell you. They need to hire. I can't believe I forgot her name. Forgive me. But she handles the marketing for Amazon Prime, and like you'll see her. Oh my god, I can't. Marie. I'm so sorry, but they need to hire her to handle all the upcoming marketing for social media, because she sells the hell out of this stuff, and all the crazy marketing you see Leonardo DiCaprio doing the snap recognition, wearing the Vault Tech outfit with the Pip-Boy. Like, she is behind all of this. One person. Like, they need to really dig deep and even talk to the marketing at Larian to sell this game, to sell all their games, honestly. And it's bad, right? Because I'm not talking about the specific people. I'm talking about, it's almost like they don't spend any money to market their games. It's like, if this game's amazing,
how many or what's a successful sales? Because Logan, I'm gonna give you a shot here, because I think I stand by what I said. What's the right number of successful sales for this game? What's the right amount?
So are we talking, because here I'm pulling up some numbers to get some bearing on reference, right? So as of January, it was reported on videogamer.com that Starfield had 10 million players that had played the game. It sold 2.5 million copies.
Okay. So
if we're putting Indiana Jones into Game Pass, 5 to 7 million is not a big number.
I'm talking about sales. You were talking about players.
I'm saying, like, I'm gauging stuff based on 2 factors here. If we're talking about sales, then 2 million copies sold is pretty good. But you have to factor in the fact that this is going to be day 1 Game Pass. So it will be available to 30 million. And if you can't scrape together 5 to 7 of those 30 million, that sounds bad to me.
I agree.
I think it will do Avatar numbers, because based on Wikipedia, and they base this according to Insider Gaming, 1.9 million people played Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I think it will
is a good experience, right?
Yes, from what I've heard. I haven't played it, but Same. I think it will do, because if a Avatar Ubisoft game can do those numbers, I think a Machine Games Indiana Jones can do 1 million. I think that's a very fair, like, not player base, but I think they could sell outside of Game Pass. I think they could do that.
I think 1 million is great. I think we're happy at 1 million sales. Yes, sir. Okay. Yep. That's a good thing. I think it is outside of the mind to think it sells
You said outside
Clinton
the
Chet
mind.
over 2 million. Like, it's just not a relevant IP right now. If it makes a return, rock on. I grew up with it. I like it. My best friend, he loves it. Like, us old hats, yep, we know. But I don't think, like, he's not even the guy from Fortnite. He's not even the guy from Fortnite.
But we're the ones that we are the generation that is buying the consoles. Like,
yeah,
the kids aren't even buying the consoles. How can we expect them to buy the games?
I don't understand the point you're making.
Well, you're talking about, like, you know, like we're the old ones that like it. It's like, yes, this is our game. We should be showing up for this game. Like, I'm not worried about kids playing Indiana Jones because I don't care, because I don't have kids that are going to be playing this. I want to play this.
He's like, move, get out the way.
This is my game. This is for me. So yeah, I don't care if kids are relevant to Indiana Jones, because they're not the ones with the expendable cash. I am. I'm going to be spending the lots of money on this.
All right. How much money can you spend on it? $70?
Spend $100. I could buy an
$30
extra
to
copy
upgrade
for
on
someone
Game Geek?
else.
Where's that physical edition?
All right, put a pin in this. Addy said he clipped some stuff. Good. Clip it.
Oh,
Come, like, hold us accountable.
No.
I will gladly eat crow if this game sells over 2 million.
We're gonna go viral like a year from now.
Happy to have it happen. Right?
Remember those weirdos who said it would only be a million?
Ford.
It's the best game of all time.
Let it be the best game. That's only good. But, like,
right? No,
I don't,
seriously.
And I will tell you, their kids spend so much money on games.
They spend their parents' money on games.
What's the difference to a company?
The parents don't know what the kids are spending money on. They're spending it on Roblox and Fortnite, V-Bucks and stuff like that. Like, this is not a game for them.
That wasn't so genius. Like, being able to, it's easier. My kids come up to me with a $3 ask, and that's so much easier than me going to my wife like, hey, there's a collector's edition for $150. They win every time, but me, it's like, I gotta save up.
It's less than chicken nuggets, Dad. That's all.
Yeah, like, I don't even want McDonald's today, Dad. I can eat sandwiches. Just give me this pack. And it's like,
yep,
easy, genius.
Yep.
But this isn't for them, though. Indiana Jones isn't trying to capture that youth. They're trying to cater to the olds who have 3 decades worth of love for this franchise.
Indiana Jones is trying to make money and they sell a game.
That's fine.
And I don't think you're going to sell a lot of games. That's what I'm saying. I don't think enough people are going to buy the game.
You're saying that it's going to bomb, though, that it's not going to do well. And I'm saying it will do well. It just may not sell to the kids.
What's the measure of success, I think, is what we are going back to.
I think if it does Avatar numbers, that'd be more than enough. It'd be a solid game. It'll review. I think it'll review at like an 8. It would be a 9 if it was on other consoles. We know that. But I think it'll get
Xbox tax.
It's very real.
You said it. You said the words.
8. I didn't say he did, but no. But I think it'll get an 8, and I think it will do well Game Pass wise after reviews come out. But sales wise, it'll sell 1 million copies.
And I think people will be disappointed. I think that's a disappointment. It's a first-party Xbox game that Machine Games is working on. I think that's a disappointment. 1 million copies and just some. Like, I think that's a disappointment. If a PlayStation exclusive,
100 million, you said 1 million sales was good.
I think that. Wait, no. I think.
I did. I think 1 million is fine.
No, I don't think that's good. I think that's what's going to happen.
What do you think?
I think that's
good?
bad.
Okay. So you
think that's what's going to happen.
Bad?
I think 1 million for a first-party Xbox Machine Games. Yes, I think that's poor. Yeah, and I think the idea that it would get 7 million was just outside of the mind. I don't think it's doing better than 1 million. I don't think that's good enough. I don't
You
think
don't
that's good
think
enough.
people are going to be dressing up as Indiana Jones the Halloween after it launches?
I don't think many people are. That's what I'm saying.
You don't think
Fact,
we'll get a fresh Indiana Jones movie tie-in because of the success? No, I'm just don't listen to me.
Logan's asking. He wants to see like what I said. I feel like my case is it's going to do 1 million. That's not good enough. The idea that you said 7 million is outside of the mind. I don't think that's a success. I think are we happy with a 2 million first party AAA experience?
Sales
After
outside of
post Redfall, yes.
Yeah.
I just don't
outside
think
of
that's
Game
good enough.
Pass.
Post Redfall, post Game Pass, yes.
I want it better for first party. That's just what I think it needs to be better. But
I don't think we'll ever see Starfield numbers like that again until like Elder Scrolls.
And I would ask for comparisons, logical comparisons, mind you. Addie has a good question. I'm gonna star that and come back to it. I think I want logical comparisons to PlayStation first party games that we consider successes or disappointments, right? Like, I think the general prevailing feeling is that Horizon Forbidden West disappointed despite being really good, right? It didn't meet what they wanted it to do. Days Gone, weak. Spider-Man, incredible, although the ROI we're finding in hindsight low. God of War, amazing. Where does Ghost of Tsushima land, right? Like, logical comparisons, I think, would be healthy because you've got a single player experience in Indiana Jones and you have a single player experience in a lot of PlayStation stuff. Whereas I don't think it makes sense to compare Pal World to some things and to compare Forza Horizon to anything other than Gran Turismo. I think I want logical thought processes. So that's why I guess I'm going to it. And Addie asks a great question of me that I'll pose to everybody. Why are sales so important to validation of success? Because we're in a business and money is the key indicator. And we wouldn't see Xbox adjusting its strategy if they were making money hand over fist in certain places. We wouldn't have had that conversation about WoW, about Activision, about back compat, about hardware if money was coming in. We wouldn't see Sony adjusting their attitude and approach to games if their ROI was as good as it had been 5 years ago. Their return of investment on Spider-Man 2 was not nearly as good as it was for Spider-Man 1, despite Spider-Man 2 being a critical success and selling a wonderful amount. So I think that's why sales are so important. I agree that there is just as much, if not more, success in engagement if dollars can be spent in an ecosystem. But we are not as gamers and consumers, we should not be pretending that the business isn't important. I don't need to make money. I need to play games and have fun.
Yes.
Those are two different discussions.
And I'll put on the consumer hat again, right? Because ultimately that's what I am. As a consumer, when you got to think about who Xbox's parent company is, they're all about money. Like you are, we're dealing with the richest company on earth, not in the US, not in the UK, not in South America, earth. Flat around, both of them. No. So, I'm a firm believer that Phil and the team had to fight to keep Xbox as what it is. I really think they were getting ready for the full slate. That's my tinfoil hat. I think that's why Phil looked like he aged 10 years. And that's why you seen Satya all over CNN and talking everywhere, and Phil was nowhere in sight, because I think Microsoft was stepping in and like, hey, we're spending a lot of money. We just spent a crap ton of money. Why aren't we seeing this immediate exchange? Like, why isn't an immediate profit? I really believe that wholeheartedly. And the fact that we live in that world where you need to appease your stockholders or shareholders, sales matter. And I hate it. It doesn't mean a game is good or bad. But it matters. And if we want to see a second version, like if we want Days Gone 2, It needs to sell. If PlayStation wants to see more multiplayer games from Xbox, they need to
Mhm.
buy it. And that's, thinking about that, the way Sea of
Mhm.
Thieves sold. How
Mhm.
did Sea of Thieves become the top pre-ordered game when they had an exclusive single player experience being released around the same time? Rise of the Ronin. You had a new IP,
Mhm.
but yet Sea of Thieves was taking over your storefront,
Mhm.
and you have a brand new single player IP experience.
Mhm.
That just shows you. So in seeing that, going back to the point of money, that tells me we're going to get more games going over there.
Mhm.
You just
Absolutely. Indiana
you
Jones will
just
be there within 2 years of its release.
bro, you just outshined a PlayStation exclusive solo experience,
Mhm.
new IP with a game that's 6+ years old.
Mhm.
I
Oh yeah, it's going on. Everything's going over there.
there's a little bit. I got to add a little bit
I
of
still think
flavor,
you're wrong on this, Logan.
a
I know
little
where you're going.
context. No, I know I'm exactly right about this. Because Sea of Thieves said that there was going to be exclusive cosmetics for pre-ordering and playing through the beta. A lot of people pre-ordered on Xbox to get those cosmetics because Sea of Thieves has a horizontal power progression. You do not get more
Ah,
powerful over time. You just have cosmetics. That is the distinction. That's the chase. So we didn't know when the pre-orders went live that those cosmetics were going to be exclusive to PlayStation only, that you could not equip those on your Xbox or PC client versions. I've had a lot of people cancel their pre-orders because of that.
let me tell you this though. We're dealing with machines, right? This Matrix. No, but they just see that this was the top pre-ordered game. If I'm Microsoft, I don't even hear that. What I
Mhm.
hear is our old game just trumped a brand new IP experience on our competitor who's been beating us into the dirt for the last ever.
Yeah.
Saburito's salty. I just felt that that was a fun pun, and I felt the need to spotlight that.
But no, but
He's salty.
but no, but I'm like, if I'm Microsoft, I don't even think that, hey, it was our player base that went over there. Because even if that was the case, now all that means is I got to put more cosmetics over there so we can make double the money off you guys.
Mhm.
But the trouble was is that a lot of the people, like, it comes back to like the people that thought that those cosmetics were going to be accessible through their Xbox, because I know a lot of people through my community just alone
Hmm.
bought the pre-order with the assumption that all they had to do was get someone to log into a PlayStation. They don't even own a PlayStation. They just
Got you.
wanted the cosmetics. And
Got you.
once, because we didn't hear this when Hi-Fi Rush, an actually really good game, went up on PlayStation. Like, it wasn't breaking charts. But you have 6 years of community created behind a live
That's
service
fair.
game that's developed
That's fair.
around cosmetics, and it hits top pre-orders because of exclusive cosmetics that are available. I guarantee you that's what happened, whether Luke wants to
That's
believe me or
fair.
not.
That's a fair point. And now hearing that, my first thought is, okay, we need to do it with Halo. Okay, we need to do it
Yeah.
with, like, no, like, that is my initial, like, because once again, they gotta appease their shareholders, bro. Is It's a business.
Mhm.
And if we want to see Xbox keep thriving in the way it is on the back end, because of course they don't show their they don't show their wins up front. They
Mhm.
really don't. Like, you would be so sick of me if I ran the social medias and I ran the marketing. It would
Mhm.
be, you guys would be so sick of Fallout. It'd be disgusting. I'd
Mhm.
have people in the street. Baseball season's going. It would be people in Vault Tech outfits sitting behind a home plate right now.
Mhm.
Like, bro, come on. Like, I would have a Vault Boy getting beat up in WrestleMania. Like, there's no way. It, so
So
many easy layups for such a rich company.
so I think a lot of what we're arguing about right now, and it's funny because Logan and I are contentious today. Um, a lot of that, I think we will find out the answers to. That's one thing I do like about our arguments is we're not having nebulous hypotheticals. We're going to see how Sea of Thieves does. We
Yeah.
are going to see uh, how Indiana Jones compares in terms of sales to other titles. And so I'm really, really excited to watch the PlayStation community get a hold of a game that I love. I know Logan loves, although I think because of Logan's content creation and his embeddedness in the franchise, there's a love-hate there. Like, I love-hate DC, I think, more than most people do, because I love DC, so I really am mad at DC a lot, right? Because I want this thing I love. And so I think the Sea of Thieves community is going to have this interesting conundrum of how to welcome in new people without being mad at the game. Destiny 2 players hate Destiny 2 until this last week. Apparently, all y'all forgot you hated Destiny.
I didn't.
Final shape.
I didn't.
I'm watching all y'all. I'm back in. No, you're not. Hush your mouth. You are not back. That thing is gonna come out, flash in the pan. You're gonna be so excited. Then you're like, you know what? The problems are so the vault.
The Recluse is trash again. No,
I can't believe they're doing this with. It's gonna be the same.
It should have been gnawing hunger.
Look,
What?
man. The funniest thing I ever seen on social media, not ever, but it's up there, is somebody got caught up in a situation with their significant other, and that person went and deleted their Destiny account. And somebody in the comments was like, they're free now. They're free. like they could let it go. It's gone. Gee, you're free. And I thought about it. I was like, one day I missed a season. I don't know which one it was. And then I just never went back, and I just felt so peaceful ever since then. Life has been
That's what happened to me, man. They had one really bad season. I was like, I hate this season's activity so much. I don't want to play this game. I'm so tired of the same rhetoric over and over and over again. And finally I was like, I don't have to show up for raid.
I don't have to be.
I remember that moment because he hung out with us that night and we had a blast.
Yeah.
I remember that.
No, but I see where you're coming from, Luke. I do acknowledge that I see a lot of the flaws with the game, but Joseph Moran, PlayStation Trophy Room, and I went in to see
ugly kid,
very ugly. We went into PlayStation only servers last night for Sea of Thieves to test out the beta. And we murdered some fools in some really nice, like, season 11 cosmetics. He wore Master Chief outfit. I wore Jack Sparrow. We were just like killing scrubs like everywhere.
Love
it. It was a really good experience, but I 100% acknowledge that there are so many, because just in today, I had a lot of people jumping into our private little Discord channel saying like, I am very frustrated with the game because I was crashing 14 times over the course of 2 hours on the Xbox client.
So the Xbox side, not the beta. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. So I see both sides of it. I see the pros and the cons. I know that there are a lot of PlayStation people that are jumping into Sea of Thieves, but I know exactly how this community is reacting from the Xbox PC side as well too. There was a lot of discontent about the fact that they withheld the information about how these cosmetics were going to play out. When they announced it back in February, they could have very easily said, hey, these cannot be transferred over to Xbox. And they didn't. They waited till like a week before the beta.
And we're not giving them the benefit of that. We don't think this is Sony up to its old stuff, because like one thing Sony does is they say we're not giving you this, and like as soon as Xbox got Activision, we were like, all right, throw some weight around. So we don't think that's what's happening, right? We think this is Rare just being stingy.
No, I think it could be. I think it could be like an Avengers Spider-Man deal as far as the contract, because there's Xbox exclusive Duke cosmetics that came out when they launched the Xbox Series X. Those don't transfer over to PlayStation. You cannot equip those, even if you own them.
I hate that. That's so stupid.
It's so stupid. It's really stupid. But that is the level of cosmetic detail that they go into with Sea of Thieves, because there is no power progression. So when cosmetics come out, whether they're Twitch drops or they're like cards or like, you know, that is like the bread and butter. The exclusivity of those cosmetics is what drives the community beyond just the normal gameplay. So it's really hard to judge like what pre-orders look like for Sea of Thieves, because we didn't see like a big hubbub on Nintendo when the games like Grounded and stuff was coming over there. Like they got a little bit of a buzz, but not huge. But it wasn't like dominating pre-order sales for Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation. Like, we're so excited to get Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation finally. But Sea of Thieves, that's a 6-year long community that lives off cosmetics. Just saying that there might be a little truth to what's happening here.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I want to take a moment real quick while we're kind of in this discussion and give a shout out to our YouTube channel members here at tier 2, Matto1606. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Our tier 1 members, Rick Davis, Nisa Hauer, Spartan4151. Appreciate you guys so much. And then Silent Cypher came in last week and gifted 5 subs to Drake Williams, Sabarito, Mean Muggin 20, and Maddie Sarian. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel here over on YouTube as we are live. So honored to have you guys here. All of you guys that have clicked the like button, thank you so much. And appreciate you guys being on this journey with us for sure. And I'll say, as we're still mid-topic here, thank you, Baron, for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have you here. It is so good to have you guys. Go check out Level 1 Gaming, guys. Level 1 Gaming is the best. I love the discussions y'all have with Fame on Wednesday, and the shorts are hilarious. You guys are awesome. So, all right, let me ask you this. We're talking all about sales numbers for Indiana Jones. We're looking at how the communities are gonna react to Sea of Thieves as it arrives. The measure of success, I think, is really up in the air for the entire industry. All right, we're watching a number of areas of profit shrink for companies, and different companies are reacting different ways. Our channel favorite, Immortals of Avium, XEP, we love Immortals of Avium, had furloughs this past week. They had studio people bringing in the studio, and no longer are they they just keep contracting. That's a consistent issue. And so we're watching some games like, hey, we should have launched a different time, should have launched a different price point. Helldivers did great at $40. Star Wars Outlaws debuted with a non-gameplay trailer that looked great, I thought, but not a lot of gameplay happening. And then right off the bat, we find out that the additions for the gold and platinum are $100 or more, depending on your market, to play 3 days early. You get the season pass, but you don't know what's in it. How do we feel about seeing something like Star Wars Outlaws? I'm seeing more backlash on this than I expected to. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying that much for early access. And I love Survivor. It's a lightsaber, but that was a physical thing, you know? How do we feel about that?
We are talking about Ubisoft, and Ubisoft games often go on sale within the first 2 weeks of launch. So that's one thing. I think that's a huge part of it, right? That maybe they're capitalizing on the fact of people who just can't wait, and it is bad as it looks, or as I believe it was Fame or Geek Life Mike, I forgot who said it, but it's more of maybe we're looking at them funneling people into Ubisoft Plus. Because what better way to market it than to overprice this game that's going to be $40 within a month, and then to show you all these crazy ridiculous prices that doesn't make any sense, and then to have that pretty $18 and you can get it day one plus all our other catalog. Like it, I think that's a part of it, not all of it, but I think that is a huge part of it.
Big shout out to Ade coming in and being a channel member. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's the first one for today, and we are honored and appreciative. Thank you. Logan, go ahead, buddy.
Much love. Yeah, no. The story trailer was fantastic. I love the idea of what they're doing. I did not expect any gameplay out of this because they said it was going to be story. So I was like, all right, cool. If that's what I'm going in for, then that's what I want. And they sold me on the story. I genuinely am interested in this kind of outlaw, buy your life away from the I can't think of the different groups, but they've set this up really well. And I love what they're going to do with it. I love that this is going to be kind of a tailored single player story experience. There was a lot of question in my mind regarding this 3-day access for a single player game. I expect them doing seasonal content for all games like Ubisoft. Like that's just what they do. That's, they've got a store, they've got a season pass. Their price is going to drop, and they subsidize the price of the game to get people into the microtransactions. Like they've got the challenges and stuff like that. You get some gear out of that, and I just fully expect that that is what Ubisoft's marketing is going to be. There was a lot of contention around like the video itself not looking as good as like what we initially saw. I think there's a lot there with lighting and stuff that's going on with like the character models. There's a really nice thread that I saw on X that talked a lot about using real life scans versus stylized modeled characters for like not going in and actually like smoothing out features to kind of work with lighting better. I think this is going to be a really fun game. I don't know that this is like the game that will be like game of the year, but I think that this is going to be a really good installment into Star Wars in an era where right now, like honestly, EA is making the best Star Wars content. And I can't wait to see. I know it's wild. They've screwed it up so much over the last like 10 years. And then finally, like one studio is like, I've got an idea. Maybe we do like a little bit of a Dark Souls, but with like a new character in Star Wars. And they're like, yes.
That's what competition brings. As soon as they lost that 10-year license, you know, and Battlefront 2, that was one of my pandemic games along with Sea of Thieves. Battlefront 2 ended wonderful content for Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 was dope by the end.
See, that's so good to hear too. Because in like with this going to Ubisoft, now we can kind of see. And if I remember correctly, I think this is the team that did Starlink, isn't it?
I've heard that, but I don't know that. I have heard that. I've not looked it up. And Starlink was a blast for those of us people that talk about old hats. I love Star Fox, like old school Star Fox 64, and that was
not relevant, Luke. The kids aren't into Star Fox anymore. The game's not going to sell well.
Starlink didn't sell. We haven't gotten Starlink 2.
No, Starlink didn't. It didn't sell because it was Toys to Life stuff, and nobody. It was at the very tail end of Toys to Life, and nobody knew that you could buy all the stuff through the digital store.
You are picking and choosing your logic when you just proved my point again. You have proved my point all day.
Of course I am. I'm going to pick my logic. Why wouldn't I pick my logic? It's my argument.
I'm trying to win here.
I'm not trying to prove you right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out that I've been right on every single topic I brought up today, and I've been mocked as the Fallout boy for this entire episode. Okay?
What?
It just goes to show that you can still be right about stuff and still get made fun of.
I hate it here.
No, I think that Outlaw is going to do really well. I think a lot of people are really excited about that. I think that the pre-order stuff for this should have been a little plush of the little creature that's in there. Like
that would have been smart.
Let's start moving away from statues. I got too much crap in my background. I need something for my bed. Just a little cute little plush to throw on my bed that my cat will lay against during the day, and just let's like broaden our horizons when it comes to collector's editions.
Enamel pins.
Pins?
Y'all are so wrong. Statues all day.
Ridiculous. Sit down.
No, I can't do any more statues.
Yeah. I don't need any more 9 inches of nothing. I'm good with that. What I think
that.
Yeah, no. I think the most egregious thing about the announcement for the Star Wars thing was literally just the 3-day early access. I am tired of that. Thankfully, I don't have to buy into that. But I know that as like a Twitch streamer, that is a real frustrating thing, because if you're not early access, you're late to the party, and no one is going to catch your channel out of interest for new content.
Yeah.
But that's another problem. Shouldn't matter to consumers.
I think it did nothing to tell me why I needed to get the special edition, but I was excited. I'm excited for more Star Wars, right? Like, and I think that's it. Yeah. Standard game, I'm in. I got you. But this did not sell me on a reason to play early. There was nothing here that said you need 3 days early access. Something about this isn't doing for me what I needed some of the other games that I've gotten early access to have done. And so I was just like, all right, cool. I'm excited. I'll get you when I get you. Yeah. That was how now, will I change my mind? Maybe.
Ooh.
Start get that itch.
I hope this ends up being a game of the year run nominee. I really do. Somebody compared it to somebody, I forgot who it was on Twitter. If it was one of you guys, I'm sorry. They were like, we're getting a Mass Effect to like heist, like story gathering of the team to do this one thing story in Star Wars, and that's great. And I think this is going to be badass.
It wasn't us. I did like that I saw Korra, which not many people know because go watch Solo. Solo was a good movie. Cool, neat.
I'm glad that this is coming out this year. Honestly, because I think that we've seen some really, really good third party stuff coming out. And I like when you start to get some of these third party companies putting out really good IP games that everyone can kind of dive into. It was kind of a bummer that Avatar got shoved into December where nobody really checked it out. I think if they had put this as like a summer game, I think it probably would have done a lot better.
Oh yeah, my money was too tight in December, and I was excited for that game. If anybody remembers, I was talking about it, but my money was just too tight at the time to dive into Avatar. When the game was well reviewed, just didn't do it. So
yeah,
guys, I don't know if you saw, but we got word from multiple sources that the Dead Space 2 remake is not happening. Whether it was in development or not is up for debate, depending on who. But I was disappointed to hear this in the wake of a very good Dead Space 1 remake. I really loved that. And so I was sad to see that we would not see Dead Space 2 make its return. I didn't play that one on the original release, and I'm told that the upscales for the Xbox Series X look fantastic and play wonderfully. But I will tell you, after really loving the Dead Space 1 remake, and I'll recommend that to everybody. I think the spring sale's going on. It's probably on sale. I was really bummed to see that because I really enjoyed the remake. And I was like, oh, if I'm getting more of this, then I'm here for it. I know Dead Space 3 apparently went off the rails, but remakes allow you to change things. And we learned that with Resident Evil. So I thought that was a disappointment. I was kind of bummed to watch that happen.
Yeah. That was you never know, like when you hear these kind of things, because there's been so much weird debate between EA and Jeff talking about like whether it was a thing and plausible deniability and stuff. But to know that if EA actually comes out and says that it's not a thing, whether it was or it wasn't, it does kind of feel like a shame that that it wasn't a good enough remake for them to justify remaking the second one. But it does still kind of give hope that that team will be able to go and actually do something different and new, which is always kind of, I'm always interested in what like good studios can come up with new IP, because that's always going to be a risk, and not just relying on remakes to fund the studio, give them an opportunity to do something interesting. But, for the Dead Space. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I apologize, but I want to point out, I agree with the logic. However, on the business side, we've seen two decent to good, even great games in Immortals of Aveum and Callisto Protocol being new IP from established teams of old IP not do well, despite looking good. I thought Callisto Protocol ended in a really good state. At least when I played it, it was good. I didn't play it at launch. Immortals of Aveum consistently is getting updates and looking better and better and playing better. And that's disappointing for its studio. And so new isn't always better in terms of business side.
No.
So there is that thought process.
No, I agree there. Go ahead, Baron.
I wonder do you think they're going the whole Square Enix route? Like, oh, it didn't sell 100 million copies, so it was a flop. Like, do you think that's what we're looking at, or was it truly just not worth the investment?
Watch Tales of Kenzera Zao and watch EA's reaction. I think that'll be telling, because Immortals of Aveum was an EA original. Tales of Kenzera Zao is an EA original. Admittedly, not 1-to-1 in terms of presentation, but I mean, Abu Salim has been on a PR tear Side note, we
Yes.
had him first. What up?
Hey.
We did have him first for real though.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool. But like he's been everywhere promoting this game. If this game comes out and doesn't do well, that'll tell you what EA's goals are, because that EA marketing machine and the money's behind it, there is something to it. And if they don't take advantage of their resources to promote that project, then we have an issue. And I think that will be a factor in it.
Was it EA who, and please correct me if I'm wrong, was it EA who recently came out and said that they're canceling a lot of like third party stuff, and they're right, because they were the ones who they were the ones who said they're like condensing down and they're done with doing like the extension projects and whatnot. So knowing that, right, you would think a quick, easy in-house layup would be to use a lot of the same assets and build from Dead Space and just sell people Dead Space 2, even if it's just at its base a DLC of Dead Space 1 remake, like just to kind of build up the coffers a bit, since you're making it seem like it's an issue right now. I don't know that what. I guess something new. Nah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think the only sin for a lot of games last year was releasing last year.
Yeah, that's
any other year,
point.
you just pick a game. Just pick a game. Avatar. You throw that in 2022, it'd be game of the year contender. You take Dead Space, throw it away from the year that Resident Evil 4 remake came out, and Alan Wake, and like, come on, like, and I hate that. And this kind of goes back to what I said, jumping back to the whole pre-order thing on PlayStation, is the numbers without the context is enough to make decisions for these big companies and shareholders. At least that's what it looks like. It looks like there's no context, because anybody would tell you a game even standing out in 2023 should be hailed as a top tier game. Like, the fact that you can remember that game came out should mean something in a year like that. But for the money people, they only see numbers. So I feel like that's we're gonna see a lot of backtracking in the next few years, and maybe you'll get a Dead Space in a dead year. You'll get Dead Space 2 in a dead year when there's not much planned, or maybe your next maybe Apex doesn't do what you wanted it to, or you come out with a new shooter, a new multiplayer experience that doesn't go well, and then all of a sudden you announce, oh, and by the way, we've heard you guys. Dead Space 2 is in the works. Like,
that's a good point.
I think, but yeah, man, I feel like the craziness of 2023 is just messed with the numbers, and they just look at the numbers and not the full story.
Good point. Logan, any other thoughts on that topic?
No, actually, that was really well said. I agree pretty much with what Baron said. It's hard to really judge some of these titles based in what year they were. I hadn't really considered that, to be perfectly honest.
Well said, Baron. Well said. Let's see here, guys. I want to, before we exit out, I feel like we've been answering the chat's questions pretty regularly, and we appreciate you guys commenting as we go. I think we're going to start winding down here. I will point people to keep an eye on XEP's channel for the next week or two. Ellery Woods Parker III is doing some indie reviews for us. The first being a game called Outer Terror, which released on other platforms, and I think has a really unique take. And so I'm interested to see what they say about Outer Terror, which is fun. Let's see here. I feel like we're pretty much there. Baron J, would you be so kind as to plug Level 1 Gaming and also let people know where they can find your content?
Yeah, so you guys make sure and go check out lv1gaming.com, where we focus on everything gaming, news, reviews, and everything in between. We have our flagship show Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2XP. I've been live streaming a lot more, or that's actually the goal. So you'll be catching me going live. And currently, I should be playing Unicorn Overlord, which is a great RPG. But I've been playing Fallout because Fallout. But yeah, no, we YouTube, TikTok. We've been really killing it on the shorts feed, but yeah, check us out, youtube.com/LV1 Gaming 20, LV1 Gaming 20. And then on TikTok, it's tiktok.com/LV1 Gaming. I even jumped on Kick for a bit just to kind of give it a shot and see what's going on over there in the world. Shout out to Restream. But yeah, man, review. We got plenty of PAX East 2024 content, and we're getting ready and prepping for the Summer Games Fest stuff and reviews and news and stuff. It's all there for you.
One of my favorite, if not my favorite, indie news site, Do Not Tell Ains. He didn't show up, so Logan, where can people find you and your content, my friend?
Just keep an eye out for Keelhauled podcast. Reviews on the beta for PlayStation are going to be going up. There's a lot of stuff that they've been doing with this client that we haven't seen on the Xbox side that I'm kind of curious, like if it'll go over. And just kind of impressions and some feelings on what it's like seeing people play Sea of Thieves. That feels very much like 2018, dude. Like seeing people figure out how sales work and anchors and stuff. So keep an eye out for Keelhauled podcast. This is Sea of Thieves podcast, just about that game that I've been doing forever. And outside of that, check us out in the Patreon exclusive Discord for XEP. Love hanging out with the folks there. We're also all in chat, and thank you all for showing up for this today too.
Big time. Means the world as we are a live show now to see people there supporting in every way that they can. We were really appreciative. You can find me on socials at InsipidGhost, but truly just thank you for being here, for supporting the channel in any way that you have and can. We are appreciative. That is going to be it from us. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care.